All right, friends, thank you for joining us here on ABC24 Plus. I'm Chief Meteorologist Trevor Birchett with an update on your forecast for the next several days. We have a very busy weather pattern setting up as we get into Friday and the weekend. So just wanted to take some time to talk about all of it and tell you what you can expect here for the next several days. For Friday, it is going to be hot. High temperatures in the mid to upper 90s for Friday, but it won't last long because a cold front will get us back in shape in time for the weekend. Here's kind of what you need to know. I think the biggest weather impact is going to be a chance of some rain and some thunderstorms as we get into Friday night and even into Saturday morning. Now, we need the rain because of the bad drought that we're in, but unfortunately, it probably won't be enough to have a huge impact. As far as Friday evening goes, there is a chance of some thunderstorms for Friday evening, right about the time those high school football games would be going on. I don't expect it to be a huge rain chance. I think most football games will be fine, but there could be a couple of storms around. I think the much better chance of rain is going to be in the overnight hours while we're sleeping, and then even into Saturday morning. Some of that rain is going to continue and then eventually wrap up by the time we get to lunchtime on Saturday. Kind of an air mass battle that we are tracking here in the Mid-South. We have hot air coming in from the desert Southwest. We have a very breezy southwesterly wind that's come in from Texas and the Four Corners area. And that has pushed our temperature all the way up to the mid-90s for Friday. High temperatures around 95. But by Friday night, a cold front starts to move into the Mid-South, and that's going to get our temperature back to the 70s for Saturday. So a big cold front on the way, going to have kind of a temperature swing over the next couple of days. But that cold front is also going to bring in a chance of some rain. Most of this rain is going to happen in the overnight hours, late Friday night into early Saturday morning. But there could be a few showers or storms that fall during the daytime, late Friday or very early Saturday. Look at next week, though, completely dry. So as far as our drought situation, we need several rounds of rain. This little round will take what we can get, but it probably won't be enough to have a huge impact. Let's talk about Friday night football, though, because, of course, that's the big concern tonight. I do think that most Friday night football games will be just fine. I think most areas will be dry, cloudy, and warm. Highs in the 80s by about 6 o'clock and then falling to the 70s closer to 10. But again, most of the rain will happen in the overnight hours. Now, I cannot rule out a pop-up thunderstorm somewhere in the Mid-South during a football game. But I think for most of us, game time will be pretty dry. And you'll see that on the hour by hour. I'm going to start it at 3 p.m. Friday. Notice that most of the radar is clear. Now, by 4, 5 o'clock, a couple of thunderstorms start to develop. It seems like most of these would be east of Memphis into West Tennessee and into North Mississippi. You see the same thing by 7 o'clock. So this would be about kickoff time. A storm or two in North Mississippi and West Tennessee, but most of the Mid-South is dry. I would say, like I said, most of football will be fine. But just have in the back of your head that there could be a thunderstorm that bubbles up somewhere in the Mid-South this evening, although most of us will be dry for those football games. That rain really starts to move in early Saturday morning. So as we're waking up 6 to 7 a.m. Saturday, there will be some rain on the radar. Some of that could be heavy. Notice through North Mississippi from Oxford to Corinth at 7 a.m. Saturday, there are some showers, maybe some thunderstorms in there, and then that light rain continues through about lunchtime on Saturday. So for the first half of Saturday, I expect rain showers, but they clear out quickly. Here's 1 o'clock Saturday. That rain is moving out, and then certainly for Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening, that radar is going to turn out pretty clear. Now, again, rain totals not very high. This is for the next 7 days. Rain totals less than an inch, and in reality, that's probably going to be closer to maybe a quarter of an inch of rain. And as we look ahead to the 2-week precip outlook, this is all the way through September 19th, bone dry. We are expected to stay very dry, not only for this week, but really even into the following week and maybe even the week after that. So our drought condition is likely going to get worse. Yes, the little bit of rain Friday night and Saturday morning will be nice, but it's not nearly enough to start to help the situation. Drought monitor still at a moderate drought across the Mid-South. That will likely get worse as we see more dry days over the next week. Again, the impacts of drought, it might not impact the regular Joe because it's just sunny and dry. But of course, low river levels in the Mid-South can affect barge traffic. When the river gets so low, those big barges can't get past because the water's not deep enough to support them. Of course, when it is this dry, fires can also spread. You've probably noticed that your front yard's a little crunchy. That dry ground can allow those fires to get out of control very, very quickly. And obviously, we also have impacts on farmers that can really impact their crop that they're trying to get up before the harvest season. Right now, only Crittenden County and a burn ban. You cannot burn anything outside in Crittenden County without a permit. But even if you're not in the burn ban, all of the Mid-South is in a high fire danger. And again, you want to avoid outdoor burning. Even if you're not in the burn ban, it is still very dry. So be careful. Just avoid the outdoor burning if you can. Don't toss your cigarettes. You shouldn't do that on a normal day, but especially not when it's very dry, because that one cigarette butt can start a fire that gets out of control. Also be careful parking in dry grass. You know, sometimes church has the overflow parking in the grass. Might want to be careful with that because your exhaust can actually start a fire that spreads very quickly. As far as the Mississippi River level, of course, the river's big. It goes all the way up to Minnesota and Wisconsin. There's rivers that flow down into it the whole way. So if it's dry here, and especially if it's dry up to the north, we don't get enough water coming into the river, and it leads the river level to go down. And that is what we're seeing right now as we check out those river levels. Right now in Memphis, the stage almost -2 feet, expected to fall another foot to -3 feet by Sunday. And again, the minus level just means it's below the stage. There's still plenty of water in the river. It's still plenty wide, plenty deep. But that river stage is actually on the banks of the river. So when the water gets low enough, it gets below that gauge, and technically the river level is negative based off that gauge on the banks of the river. Still deep in the middle, but on the edges, that water is seeping on in, and you can see how dry it is. If you go out and look at the tip of Mud Island, you can see that that water has really come down a lot and is likely going to continue to come down. Again, for the weekend, some showers early on Saturday. If you have plans on Saturday, I try to make them in the afternoon. The later in the day, the better chance it's going to be dry. It's going to be cool through the day, though. High temperature only 77. Sunshine on Sunday, 85, and the humidity stays low. It's going to be great on Sunday. And really for the next couple of days after that, Monday and Tuesday look pretty nice as well. But with all that sunshine, we do get a little hotter as we get into the end of the week, Thursday and Friday, back to the mid-90s. Muggy meter going to be low for the next couple of days. That cold front coming in Friday night brings in some low humidity and a nice northerly breeze. So Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, pretty comfortable with low humidity. We do get a little more humidity back by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but even then, we only get to the little humid category. So it's not terribly muggy, but you might notice that humidity start to creep back by the end of next week. Let's talk about that 7-day forecast. Again, for Friday night, there's a chance of a couple of thunderstorms. Most of the rain is overnight Friday, though, and into Saturday morning. So we'll wake up Saturday to a chance of some showers early. By Saturday afternoon, the rain clears out, though. Saturday evening and Saturday night look great. Highs in the 70s, lows in the 60s. Sunshine, low humidity, beautiful weather on Sunday up to 85. Next week, sunny and dry. Rain chance is absolutely 0. We will see beautiful weather, 80s for Monday and Tuesday, back to the 90s, a little hotter for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So it will be nice next week, but like we've been talking about, we do need the rain. With the drought that we've been in, it's just not looking like we have any good rain on the way for at least the next week, maybe week and a half. Of course, we're right here keeping all the things updated on ABC24 and ABC24 Plus with the storms Friday night and the ongoing drought that's likely to get worse. We'll keep you updated. For now, I'm Chief Meteorologist Trevor Birchett. Have a great weekend, a safe weekend too. I'll see you back here on Monday.